Stay tuned as we take a closer look at this brand new Marvel Legends Red Goblin from the Kingpin Build-A-Figure wave. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Today our Marvel Legends reviews continue with this Kingpin Build-A-Figure wave, and in front of me we have Red Goblin. Now he is a very recent character in the comics, as recent as 2018, and it is basically Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin but with the Carnage symbiote. So I will explain his origins in the Who Is He segment, but we don't get a glider, which is my first big disappointment of the figure, but we do get some tentacle bits and it looks like a Goblin bomb and of course a Kingpin Build-A-Figure leg. So let's get him open, shall we? There we have an evil looking image from the comics. On the back you get a product shot, a little write-up which basically just explains what I just said, and then of course you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to complete the Kingpin Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Red Goblin. So yeah, as I said, let's get this guy open and we shall tell the story. And here we have Red Goblin out of the box, and to be fair, the figure is fine. It's a pretty good looking figure if I was a fan of the character. It's just that I'm not up to date with the most recent Spider-Man stories. So I'm aware of who the Red Goblin is, of course, and I know a brief bit about it, but he's not embedded in my brain yet as like an iconic Spider-Man villain. It would have been great if this figure come with an unmasked Norman Osborn head at least, but nope, it's just the Red Goblin. We don't even get a glider. The tail piece as well is a solid piece. It doesn't bend or anything, so that's a bit disappointment, but it is on a bucket cap body. I think it shares the same body as the recent and previous Carnage figure. The head sculpt was nice though. I think if I was a fan of the character design and a fan of the character, I would like the figure. It's just not embedded in my brain yet. But the figure looks nice. I'm not being negative. It is a nice looking figure. Just could have been better. In regards to accessories, first I will mention it comes with a Build-A-Figure leg for Kingpin. Of course it does. Short, stumpy leg, but the Kingpin is looking like a beast. So obviously subscribe to the channel, check out the playlist, as I will be reviewing the Kingpin last. But he comes with two other accessories, if you count them as accessories. The back piece with basically the Carnage tentacles that plug in a port on his back. Again, similar to the Carnage previously, because it is basically that Carnage figure with a different head. So there you go, that sort of adds to the effect. And he has a tiny little Goblin bomb. So let me zoom in, see if I can show you that. Again, it's only tiny, but the painted details are nice. Sculpted details nice. And can he hold it? Sort of. It does sort of jump out, but maybe I can just... There you go. He's holding it, and it doesn't come off. So yeah, he can hold it, which is fine. But it would have been better if he was standing on a glider and he was holding it. So yeah, that's probably my biggest gripe. It's a Goblin without a glider. So there is a closer look at that evil looking Goblin face, and to be fair, the face sculpt is very nice. This jaw underneath is a separate piece, but it's not articulated, but it is rubbery, so it will bend, but the inside of his mouth is basically just yellow. But yeah, it's a nice looking, evil looking figure. I hope it's focusing. I can't really see my camera screen. There you go. I like those Goblin eyes, those sort of cat's eyes, and yeah, he's got like a pointy cone head. Those ears are massive. Is that hair? Maybe it is. But yeah, it's massive, pointy head. But it is evil. It is looking good. And again, the body is just the Carnage body that we've seen before, painted a little bit differently. You can't unplug the tail, and the tail is one massive piece with that spike. And again, it sort of helps him stand, so he's not going to fall over easily, but it would have been better to have this articulated or some sort. The hands are like claws-ish, I guess. Let me see if they all focus. Yeah. And that was the one I was getting him to hold his Goblin bomb. There's the other one. Can I get him to hold it in this one as well? Again, yeah, there you go. So he's holding his bomb again. And there's another look at the bomb. Moving down to the legs. Again, there's little Carnage pieces coming off his feet. And these are the same feet I think we've just seen on the updated symbiote Spider-Man, I think. But overall, he's looking all right. So again, it's a good looking figure if you are a fan of the character. And I'm going to do some comparisons in a minute with the other goblins to see if he can stand on their gliders. But before we do that, let's get into a little segment I like to call Red Goblin. Who is he? This is the part of the video where we ask the question, who is he? And I try and give you a little bit of information about the character this figure is inspired by. So, Red Goblin. Who is he? Norman Osborn is, as we all know, the Green Goblin, and this is when the Carnage symbiote bonded with Norman and the Goblin formula, turning him into the Red Goblin, who made him stronger with less weaknesses and the abilities of both the symbiote and the Goblin. His first appearance as the Red Goblin was as recent as The Amazing Spider-Man 798 in June of 2018. This of course keeps Norman Osborn as one of Spider-Man's most recurring and effective enemies in the Marvel Universe. There you go, so I hope that helped. Again, I do not claim to be an expert, but it is nice to have a little bit of information about the characters these figures are inspired by. So let's get into comparisons, and the first one has to obviously be Carnage and Green Goblin. So obviously the guy in the middle, Mr. Red Goblin, is Norman Osborn, and he is an amalgamation of both of these guys. So you can definitely see how these two have been mashed together to create Red Goblin. So let me move him out the way a minute and bring in another good Goblin. He's behind me. It is the Hobgoblin. And you can see that both of these guys come with a glider. And these guys have been on my display stand on their gliders, flying amongst the villains for a while. But this Red Goblin would be good to fly alongside on, but he doesn't come with a glider. So I'm going to see if he stands on either of these. So let's try the Green Goblin first. So let me just unplug those feet and let me try this. Now his tail is very heavy. His feet might not even fit. Okay, his feet do fit. In the comics, I believe, off the top of my head, his glider is red. So maybe one of these would have to be painted. But there you go. So even straight away, you put him on a glider, and he's starting to look better already. And you can definitely maybe get a stand to hold his tail, so you can get him in some flying poses. So there is the Green Goblin's glider looking all right. And I do apologise if I keep waving him out of sight. Let's bring in the Hobgoblin's glider. Let me take his feet off. See if this one works. This one's a little bit smaller, but his feet do fit. So again, good luck trying to get a second one of these Goblin figures though, because both the Green Goblin and Hobgoblin go quite expensive on the second-hand market. But maybe a 3D printer out there can print me one. If you know anyone who's 3D printing and can print me a Goblin glider in red, I will pay you handsomely. And that is the Hobgoblin's glider. And as you can see, this one's too small. I do think it needs to be bigger. The better option out of the two is definitely the Green Goblin glider. But this guy is definitely worth keeping in your collection if you can get this guy a glider. And we need a Norman Osborn. So Hasbro, give us another suited body with a Norman Osborn head, or just pack in a Norman Osborn head somewhere. But yeah, Red Goblin. And last but of course not least, here we have the Red Goblin compared to Spider-Man in both outfits. Now, in the storyline, I believe Spider-Man has to go and get the symbiote suit himself to be able to fight this guy. This is why this is an updated version. So I think these two definitely need to go together on your shelf. Spider-Man, let's move him out the way and bring in Black Cat, because this is another modern rendition. So I do think that these three go together on your shelf. So if you do like putting things in sort of comic chronological order, then you can definitely display these three how they are. So you let me know what you think of the Red Goblin in the comments below. Would it be better with a glider? Obvious answer is yes. Would you have liked to see a Norman Osborn head? Again, obvious answer is yes, but still let me know in the comments below. Do you like this guy, or are you just going to skip him entirely? But very curious to see what you think. As always, go to the videos tab, check out tons of videos, all Marvel Legends reviews of course. And as always people, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. And I shall see you on the next one.